We about to get this started, y'all. How everybody doing? Giving honor and praise unto the Most High. Welcome to Danitepublications. Subscribe, Israel. Here we go. Take my bell to Philotenu, where you accept our prayer. Get your pens, your pads, your paper, and take your notes, Israel. Short presentation about uprightness coming up. All right, we about to change it up now. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you for that. Let's go and start it. How's everybody doing out there now? Sakole nu, meaning in our captivity. No stream and not will be your dwelling. All right, we about to change this up. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you for that, family. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to get started after this song. Thank you for that.
Make whole he
Family. How is everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is your brother and friend, More Yeshaya ben Yisrael of the tribe of Dan. At this particular time, brothers and sisters, we are going to get started in this. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Brothers and sisters, this is a particular topic that we have not usually addressed on these platforms. We are on the channels Mordeh Yeshaya Torah lessons, Mordeh Yeshaya history lessons, and brothers and sisters, Mordeh Yeshaya Old Testament. So on any particular platform in which you are, we ask you to comment, like, share, and subscribe in this particular case. Thank you for that. We are going to pull up, brothers and sisters, if I can be heard well in this particular manner, the PowerPoint, and I'm going to look on my side screen and sit there and see that it shows in that particular case, family, and it does. We are going to go over 3 slides. And brothers and sisters, we ask you all again to comment, like, share, and subscribe. We ask, brothers and sisters, that the Most High be with our loved ones. Those of us who have loved ones who know Yah, and us who have loved ones who don't know Yah. And as we have been stating for some time in Israel, you may find, and I say this in no disrespect, the idol worshiping, pork eating, don't know what the word Torah means, person to be in the remnant in the future, whereas the person who knows how to make fringes and two-tone turbans, brothers and sisters, may not make it because of the deeds. See, brothers and sisters, the Most High made our hearts. The Most High made the material that we use to sit there and wrap our heads with. The Most High made the gemstones that you see coming up out the earth that we put on our bodies to sit there and state this represents our royalty. The Most High created the languages. And in forming the languages, brothers and sisters, he also made rocks. So cuneiform, which comes from the Latin word cuneus, which means wedge shape, was already created before we came into existence. Writing existed before we came into existence. So writing your book, brothers and sisters, is all good. But at the same token, know good and well that it is the glory to the Most High that all of this goes to. Brothers and sisters, without any further ado, we ask you all again to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Get your pens, your pads, your paper, and take notes. All righty, we're going to be talking about the matter of cheating and lying and stealing, and how, brothers and sisters, the culture of Israel does not condone that. Israel, as we know, has a culture, tarabut, not a religion. Religion comes from the Latin word religio, or the Greco-Latin, pardon me, whichever one it may be, word meaning to restrain or to keep from. We don't have that as far as a doctrine. That's why you won't find the word religion inside the Torah itself. All right? So what we have is laws, statutes, commandments, brothers and sisters, given to us as a nation. And this is our constitution as a people. When I say a people, I'm talking about, to a great extent, the said black man, woman, and child in the Americas and beyond. What do I mean by beyond? Not all Israelites was brought to the West. Some state not everybody brought to the West was Israel, but that's another subject for a diaspora matter. But what we want to get into, brothers and sisters, in this particular case, is that our constitution is the Torah. So the amendments to it, we see George Bush Jr. had to give black people the vote, writing the right to vote again. Because when it was created in the 60s, it wasn't made perpetually. The thing that is perpetual for us as a people, brothers and sisters, is what? The laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High has given us. And this is what we are to oblige ourselves unto. Though none of us are perfect and none of us are, that does not mean that we should want to remain inside of any imperfection. We're going to be getting into this. Shout out on the human level to the people who subscribe, comment, like, share. To the people who typed in 4, who heard it pretty clearly, it is definitely appreciated. Shout out to my lady Sarai, who is not able to moderate at this time because she is, not to get too personal, making food for us for tonight. All right, just want to put that out there for edification and upliftment purposes. Brothers and sisters, when you have something that you love and cherish and like, you have to, by default, respect it. And it shows the Most High, not playing prophet. It shows the Most High what you think of what he has given you. Take care of it, like Adam and Eve were supposed to take care of the garden. You have a responsibility in that particular case. So, we hope you all are well and will be better. Thank you for that. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 11. Ye shall not steal, neither shall ye deal falsely, nor lie one to another. Now, brothers and sisters, we're going to show this, if we will, with the matter of the laser pointer in the Hebrew. Remembering that Hebrew goes from right to left, right? We see lo, which means no or not, tig nobu, walo, tikka kashu, walo, tishakru, ish ba'amito. Now, sidebar, you have in this earth people, for the lack of a better term, that we could call energy vampires. What do I mean by that? When he or she just cares to want to drain your spirit and drain your energy, drain your spirit of energy, and take your energy from your spirit and leave you destitute. That is essentially what the ancient Assyrians did to the Israelites while the Israelites was worshiping their gods. There's a song that used to go on in Israel, says, look at what you have done to God's only son. While you were out there chasing their gods. The gods of the other nations, the doctrines of the other nations does not help us as a people. The only book that our God spoke in is deemed by the nations called the Old Testament. The people who that book is speaking of is our people. And our future is already detailed in there. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to sit there and bring out for edification purposes. Again, we are on the platforms, Mora Yeshaya Torah lessons, Mora Yeshaya history lessons, and brothers and sisters, the page Mora Yeshaya Old Testament. Shalom, Ibriya Israel, Shalom, Mora Bat Sheba. Now, Mora Bat Sheba typed in the words Shalom Elechem Mishpakah. Mishpakah means family. It comes, brothers and sisters, in root from the word shapak. The word shapak in Hebrew means to serve. Now, mishpakah, the ending of that word mishpakah ends in an ah sound, which identifies it as the feminine. So shapak meaning to serve in verb form, ending in the ah sound, you get shivka, which means female servant. Now, mishpakah begins, brothers and sisters, with the letter mem. When you have a verb prefixed with the letter mem, it turns into a noun. Get your Hebrew up for edification purposes. So that's how you get shapak, meaning to serve, shivka, meaning female servant, mishpakah, translated as family. Because a family is they who serve each other. They who do a service to each other. That's true family, brothers and sisters. So, shalom, my brother, Yirmiyahu, Yisrael, and everybody else in the chat. We're going to look at this. While the topic is called stealing and cheating, both is wrong. We read in our commandments, given to us by the Most High, Lo tik nibu, thou shalt not steal. Walo tekak kashu, neither shall you deal falsely. Walo tishakru, ish ba'amito. So let's look at this. I'm going to take the time out now, brothers and sisters, and circle, all right, where the verb is steal, deal falsely, and lie. I want to sit there with the pen and show, you see here, no, let me not do it with that. I want to do it a different color. All right, with the pen, we'll do it in green, right? Ganab. That's the root word meaning steal. right? And we're going to color code it. The word ganab, stated as such hard way, ganab, means one that steals. That's to say a thief. All right? Looking at it in that particular case. We have, brothers and sisters, looking at it like this with the color changing, if we will, right? In blue. Let's look. You have this here. Tekachashu. That comes essentially, brothers and sisters, from the root word hakash. Now, you may want to notice, brothers and sisters, that there is a prefix and a suffix. So while we talk about the matter of this morally and lawfully, we may want to sit there and get some Hebrew understanding in this as well, if we will, brothers and sisters. All right? The word tekachashu comes from the root word hikesh or hakash. And what that means, brothers and sisters, is one that deals in deceit. One that deals, brothers and sisters, in being a liar. That is something that we are not supposed to delve in. Deception. So, let's continue in this manner. Right? We're going to take it from the yellow, if we will. Then we have Tishakru from the root word shakwal. Right? Looking at this in this particular matter, we have lie here, and we're going to color code what we're talking about, bringing it back. Thank you for that, family. With this blue here, dealing falsely. Now let's look at that which is circled in the Hebrew, brothers and sisters, in that. Hakash, right? The word hakash also, for understanding purposes, means to be lean, L-E-A-N. What can we glean from a Hebraic understanding? When you are dealing, and brothers and sisters, in falsehood, when you're dealing in deceit, you're dealing in being lean. You're dealing in not being upright. You're dealing in being not saturated. You got to sit there and cut corners and move about like that kind of spirit. So to deal lean, to deal falsely, in Hebraic thought has the same point and premise. That is part of the way as Israel we're not supposed to be. Now, this does not mean that the people talking online or the people listening or the subscribers or anyone else is not guilty of this. This is why the Most High gives us what's called rahum, from the root word raham, which means mercy. Kippur, which comes from the root word kippur, which means to atone. You know what, not want to use a modern term to speak of the Most High, that got the Most High upset? Says, my people Israel does not consider. And it wasn't so much the fact you did something wrong. It's like you didn't take out the time to say, hold on, was that the right thing to do? The Most High made everything and said, behold, it is very good. The only ones that we know that got certain kinds of laws is us as humans. Animals do not disobey the Most High. The sun, the moon, the stars, the Kama, sun. Labana, get your Hebrew up. Kama means sun. The word Shemesh is said to mean sun, but that also means ministrant. So we want to use what the Tanakh talks about for the word for sun, which is the word Kama, from the word Kam, which means hot. Thus you get sun, that which is of heat. Labana, from the word Laban, meaning white. Thus you get Labana, meaning moon. Then you have the Mazlot, the constellations, which you read of, such as Pleiades and Orion in the book of Job. Brothers and sisters, when you get into the Kokabim or the stars, brothers and sisters, looking at it in that particular case, there is a certain character and caliber that the children of Israel is supposed to have. That doesn't make any brother or sister who is a thief, who does deal falsely, and who is lying one to another any less of an Israelite. You just an Israelite that's a thief. You're just an Israelite who deals falsely. You're just an Israelite that's a liar. That does not change your ethnicity, brothers and sisters. I would like to take out the time, if we will. And let's go, if we read, sidebar from this, but in the subject of what we're talking about. Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 1, brothers and sisters. And it says this. We are in the scriptures, Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 1. If there be a controversy between men, and they come unto judgment, that the judges may judge them, then thou shalt justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. And it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down, and to be beaten before his face, according to his fault by a certain number. 40 stripes may he give him, and not exceed. Least, if he should exceed, and beat him above these with many stripes, then thy brother shall seem vile unto thee. What is that talking about, brothers and sisters? This wicked person in Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 2, and the same verse 3 next to it is still your brother. This brother that did the fault, this person, this wicked person that's being condemned for his wickedness is still your ak. He's still your brother. So we cannot choose who is mishpachah, who is family. We can't sit there and state, well, because you did this, you're not my brother. Because you did this, you're not my sister. You just a brother or sister that has to change his or her ways. Brothers and sisters, that does not exempt one from being a ak or an akot. We intend, as the time goes on, to do a presentation about family, son and daughter, bane and bat, and other matters. But brothers and sisters, we just want to, and taking the time out with this, I'm going to sit there and erase the ink on this and go and show still here. All right. Let me erase that so it'll be a little clearer. Sorry about that. All right. When you steal, most thieves are cowards. Because you're going to steal from someone that you think is inferior to you. Or from someone that you don't think will sit there and expect you to do it. That's a bad trait, brothers and sisters. Most thieves are people who like to take advantage of another. And he or she doesn't have the courage to work for something, to sit there and earn something. Not even to the point of saying, I did this, this, and this. I need to know if I can borrow this, this, or this. Or can I have this, this, or this? When you're dealing with a thief, brothers and sisters, he or she can care less about what one does and how it affects another. And that's not good. So don't be known as that, brothers and sisters. Walo tekakashu. Now, we already expounded about the word kaf, ketchin, kikesh, or kakash, would mean to deny a matter or to sit there and deal falsely in a matter. That's not our character as the house of Israel in their upright state. When, brothers and sisters, and wanting to color code this, if we will, right? Thank you for that, family. We do not, brothers and sisters, want to be known as one who delves and deals in such. Now, this is very broad. Take, for instance, you have a property. And the people who are paying you for X, Y, and Z of the property come to find out that you're not doing the right thing with what you're getting. That's dealing falsely. Brothers and sisters, let's say, for instance, somebody lets you hold something, but you have perhaps no intentions on giving it back, and thus you steal it. And then, one sin leading to another, you got to deal falsely and lie about, no, I didn't steal it. I don't know what happened to it. you may or may not want to wiggle out of having to replace it because you have no intentions on never returning it, nor lie one to another. Brothers and sisters, like a thief, a liar is a coward. And what happens in that case is the people whom you lie to, I'm speaking in general, don't have the same respect for you. They lose trust and confidence in you. And that is not a good thing. Don't be part of that congregation. What do I mean? The congregation of the wicked. That is what we're not supposed to be about, brothers and sisters. Walo tishakru. Oh, sorry about that. I wanted to just circle the verb. All right. We have the word here again. Shakwa. Are there any questions or comments concerning the Hebrew we've gone over? These words we've gone over, right? Showing it with the laser pointer in this particular case, right? Lo tignebu, thou shalt not steal, plural. Lo tekakashu, plural. Lo teshakru, plural. Ish ba'amito, meaning a man, a soul, ba'amito, among his people. This is not how we're supposed to be, brothers and sisters, in that particular case. So let's look, if we will, family. Subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share. Brothers and sisters, I have some notes here that I wanted to read that's not in the presentation itself with the timing allotted, right? And let's read. In Leviticus chapter 18, verse 20, brothers and sisters, and it says this. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 20 says the following. Moreover, there shall not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife, to defile thyself with her. Do you know what that's talking about in today's terms? Adultery. Some people delight in such manners. And then some people try to give an explanation for such, which, brothers and sisters, takes us back to what we were reading here, because now what you're doing is you're dealing forcefully in that case. I learned something from my mother, and that's this. And this is no disrespect to the union that I'm in. I was about maybe 19 or so at the time. And I was telling my mother, no, I really can't call this lady, after 10 o'clock to say goodnight. My mother said, what? This person has their own home, gave you their number, but you can't call after a certain time to just quickly say goodnight? Son, you're stupid. She's married. I was like, oh, throw that number in the garbage. Come to find out, the person was married. So I would say 19 at the time. So the things I care to sit there and point out, brothers and sisters, when you get into the laws, the statutes, and the commandments, if we will, if I can be heard well, please type in the number 4. If I can be heard well, please type in the number 4. Sorry about that. All right. So, again, I don't know the last thing y'all heard me say because my headphones came out, but I'm going to repeat something that I stated, and that's this. We have just read Leviticus chapter 18, verse 20, where it distinctly says, thank you for that, typing in the number 4, where it distinctly says, you should not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife. And no disrespect to the union I'm in, I'm going to mention something that happened to a brother over 20 or so years ago. Being 19 at the time, I had got a lady's telephone number. And my mother was saying, why is it, son, that you can't call her after 10 o'clock to just quickly say, you know, all right, have a good night? You know? So I said, well, I mean, to my knowledge, you know, might be sleep. My mother said, son, you're stupid. The lady's married. And come to find out the lady was married. Now, in light of that, brothers and sisters, you have it to where we know in our understanding of Proverbs chapter 6, it says, if a man is hungry and steals, people do not despise him because they know why he stole something. But at the same token, once it comes down to adultery, it boils down to nobody's respecting that. There is no I was so detached, so I wind up doing something that is a death penalty before the Most High God. You understand? If you steal something outside of a person, which is kidnapping, you can replace it one way or the other. You can work it off, or if you sat there and stole $5, you can replace $5 and add a fifth to it, which will make it $5.05. Correct me if I'm wrong. But in Leviticus chapter 5, if you are guilty of theft, you're supposed to replace it and add a fifth unto it. You can do that one way or the other by working it off or by giving it back in that particular case. But what do you do once it comes down to adultery? How do you clear that kind of slop? Now, what is the difference in Potiphar's wife moving on Joseph the way she was doing and the topic we're talking about regarding cheating? Brothers and sisters, you would have it to where, as some have stated, that if a man does it, he does it for a different reason that a woman does it. And if a woman does it, she does it different than the way a man does it, or the reason why. Before the Most High, it is not good. These are things that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. Let us let the book speak in that particular matter. Family. We're going to read in Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 12. Thank you for that, family. Brothers and sisters, Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 12 says this. And this is Moses speaking to the Israelites about their situations in the wilderness. Thank you for that. How can I myself alone bear your cumbrance and your burden in your strife? Take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. And ye, O house of Israel, and ye answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us to do. So I took chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over fifties, and captains over tens, and officers among your tribes. And I charged your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother and the stranger that is with him. Ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is the Most High's. And the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it. So Moses, in this particular case, is talking about having judges and officers. Solomon later on spoke about having counselors. So there's nothing wrong with that, because as it says there, the judgments belong unto the Most High. So let's take Adam and Eve in the situation with that, brothers and sisters, if we will, right? Adam knew and Eve knew what they were not supposed to do. And each of them gave a reason on why they did what they did. The woman you gave me, she gave me and I ate of it. The woman said, the serpent beguiled me and I did eat of it. Regardless of your emotions, feelings, thoughts, or persuasions, it does not alleviate the fact of what wrong was done. That's why when we go in your own time and you read in Proverbs the 6th chapter, and it speaks about, for instance, the hungry thief. Men understand, women understand why the hungry person goes out and steals, though it's still incorrect. It doesn't justify it, it simply explains it. But now, how do you explain in light of that, reading in Proverbs chapter 6, once it comes down to something like lo tinaf, thou shalt not commit adultery? How do you sit there and go back and forth in that particular case? Brothers and sisters, let us remember what we just read in Deuteronomy chapter 1. Hear the small and the great. So the Most High is letting us know that you can't sit there and say, oh, that's not worth my time. That's something beneath me. Hear it, the small and the great. And do not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is of the Most High's. Certain cases might be too difficult for the judge or the captain of 10 or 50s or hundreds of thousands. And in that case, on the human level, then you go to the Supreme Court, which will be where Moshe or Moses was in that particular case. But brothers and sisters, we definitely wanted to let it be known and understood. Like the Apocrypha teaches us, the Most High does not give us any license to do sin. Stealing because you're hungry means that you are a thief that's hungry. Committing adultery, regardless of your statements on why you as a man or woman did it, is still adultery. Trying to give a reason like Adam and Hawa or Adam and Eve, the woman you gave me, as if it's the Most High's fault. Or the serpent beguiled me, as if you didn't already tell the serpent what was right from wrong. Once you know right from wrong, the best thing to do is to confess it and not say thing again. The more you sit there and allow yourself to have a reason to stay in your funk, you're going to always stay stank. As long as you allow yourself to have a reason for such, you're going to stay in that. I was a thief. I remember one time my mother, may she rest in peace, had me confess it. My name is such and such, and I like going into my mommy's purse and taking out the change that doesn't belong to me. Do you realize how embarrassed that thing that is? But as you all know, in going in the particular matter, as it says, what confession is say good for the soul. So our ancestors have left us this kind of matter. We're going to, with the timing allotted, brothers and sisters, go into Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, for those who do read it. We are in the book of Ecclesiasticus, in the Apocrypha, chapter 9, verse 1. And it says this: be not jealous over the wife of your bosom, and teach her not an evil lesson against thyself. What does that point out, brothers and sisters? Be not jealous of the wife of your bosom, and do not teach her a lesson against thyself. That means, brothers and sisters, or in this case directed to brothers, but to the people as in general. When you are in as a man, and I'm not saying I'm the best advisor, but knowing from what I read and able to speak on such, don't mess things up. Don't sit there and, as the saying goes, give a person a reason to not want to sit there and be that one with you in unity and camaraderie and things of that kind of nature. This is what it's talking about in that particular case. This is not saying, well, if you do something wrong, don't tell her about it because then she'll bring it up as time goes on. That is not what Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 1 is saying. Let us continue, family, in this case. Give not thy soul unto a woman to set her foot upon thy substance. Meet not with the harlot, lest thou fall into her snares. Use not much a company of a woman that is a singer, least thou be taken with her attempts. What does it mean in that particular case? Use not much the company of a woman that is a singer. Always entertaining. Like Proverbs 7, her feet abide not in her house. Don't be one of those kind of men that the book of Proverbs talks about when it says on account of a harlot is a man brought to a loaf of bread. These are things that our ancestors was leaving on record for a purpose. But now if we already know, brothers and sisters, the laws, the statutes, and the commandments, what can we gather and gain in that particular matter? If you're not dealing falsely, lying and stealing, you won't get caught up in those kind of things. So these are things as advisors like Ecclesiasticus telling us why the laws state what the laws state. Let's continue, brothers and sisters. Gaze not on the maid. We are in Ecclesiasticus Apocrypha chapter 9 verse 5. Gaze not on the maid, that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her. Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance. What does that talk about, brothers and sisters? Give not your soul unto harlots. Brothers, if she's with you and him, and him, and him, that is harlotry. Don't be part of that camp, that congregation. I'm not talking about camps and congregations in Israel. I'm talking about that is not where we're supposed to be, because there are male harlots and female harlots. How do you say harlot in Hebrew? Zonah, which is the feminine version. The masculine is zoneh. Why do we wear, if I can be heard well, please type in the number 4. Thank you for that, family. Why do we wear, our fringes? We wear our fringes that it says you go not what? Astray. The Hebrew way of saying going astray is the Hebrew word zonim, the plural of the word zoneh, from the word zana, to go astray, to be a harlot. So in going into harlotry means that in Hebraic thought, one is going astray, meaning from the way that we're supposed to be. Israel was charged with being a harlot, going after other gods, accepting everything they can from the Most High, and then giving thanks to somebody else because they didn't like this or that of Yah. The Most High called Yisrael a whore or a zonah in Jeremiah chapter 3. The Most High created Israel as a harlot in Hosea, saying, go and get a woman beloved of a friend, like I love the children of Israel, who goes after flagons of wine and gods of other nations. So that's in Hosea chapter 1 and 2. So we as the nation of Israel is supposed to be a certain kind of caliber. It doesn't mean because you are guilty of X, Y, and Z that you can't change. Because, brothers and sisters, not to get too personal, I've known of lesbians that became straight and had a child afterward. That's a great abomination. I've known of drug dealers who stopped dealing in drugs. I've known people who was addicted to drugs stop doing it. We have, as our teachers pointed out, a communication with the Most High. Whatever iniquity, whatever wrong, whatever weakness one may have, you can't go. You ain't got to say online or offline or to any flesh and blood. You can keep that between you and your maker. Just like it says, Isaiah 44, Israel is the chosen servant of the Most High. Joshua 24, it says, and this will help me stop stealing as a child. This day you have chosen to serve Yah Eloheka, the Lord thy God. Once you make that choice to say, I'm not going to do that, whatever that is anymore, that is when you have made that great step. Joshua chapter 24 speaks on that. Joshua chapter 5 verse 9 is when the Most High through Joshua is saying, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt. You're not their bondmen. You are free now, O house of Israel. You ain't got to look to the Netero of ancient Egypt and then the Pharaoh and their gods and idols and so forth and so on. When you go, like me and my lady did in Egypt, you can see that they got Ma'at or Ma'e or whatever they call it on their picture. You can turn it around to let the children of Ishmael know the children of Israel don't bow down to the Netero of ancient Kemet. You can do that with confidence. But brothers and sisters, this again is not to condemn nobody. This again is not to say anyone is holier than thou. This again, brothers and sisters, is not to sit there and make anyone feel away or abashed or anything of that kind of sort. Let us continue in Ecclesiasticus. We're going to be reading in chapter 9, verse 6. Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance. You know one way to tell, and it's not to sound disrespectful toward females in general, what a harlot is one who takes, receives, and never gives. That's how you can tell. See, you'll lose your inheritance in that manner because they're not going to sit there and think about you when you need something. They're not going to sit there because they're a taker. They're not going to sit back and think, my friend might need something. This person helped me. Let me sit there and help my friend. And if I can't, let me try to find a way how. There's a difference between that. Brothers and sisters. That's why when you hear the brothers speak about the saying of that's not your girl, that's quote everybody's girl, or what women would say, he's not your man, he's every woman's man, that kind of spirit and so forth and so on is not supposed to be. Give not into harlotry, lest you be taken in, as he says, when she sings, like a love song that sounds good to your ears kind of thing. Like Proverbs chapter 7, with her much fierce speech she causeth him to yield, until an arrow strike through his liver, and he didn't realize it was the cost of his life. So these are things, that's in Proverbs 7. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we definitely want to sit there and have brought out. I'm not the biggest fan of Tyler Perry because of some of the things he promotes. One of the movies that he came out with had, I think her name is Keisha Plumman or Keisha Knight. She played Rudy when she was a child in the Cosby Show. But she was inside of a movie that Tyler Perry did. And she played a former prostitute who changed her ways. And somebody was trying to tell the person who played Rudy, I know your history and how you used to live. The movie doesn't show it, but Rudy punched that person in the face. Why? And I'm saying Rudy because that's what I know that person to be from the Cosby Show when she was playing later on. Her name is Keisha Plumman or something like that in real life. But my point nonetheless is this, right? Don't let nobody bring you backward. Just like in the movie, that man tried to bring the person who played Rudy back into a former existence of being a prostitute, being something that's not of high caliber. He got dropped. That's what you're supposed to do and deal with. When anyone tried to bring you back, I was a thief. I don't need people to sit there and state, well, you was a thief when you was a teenager. What? Don't allow anyone to bring you back from what you repented and left from. Take the movie, if you will. Notorious. The person playing Biggie Smalls, brothers and sisters, sold crack to a woman in a movie who was pregnant. Sometime later, he sees that lady and she's walking with her son. So it appears that the son that she was walking with in the movie was before that the pregnant woman looking to get drugs. Now, can we bring, may he rest in peace now, Biggie Smalls back to its former drug dealing days? Can we bring, brothers and sisters, the lady that was a crackhead that was pregnant back to that state? Or does it say in Psalms 107, let the redeemed of Yah say so? So if the Most High brought you from something, don't allow somebody to sit there like Jeremiah 3, get your scriptures out, O house of Israel. Let somebody bring you back. It's not right, O house of Israel, to say the Babylonians, to say, it says that in Jeremiah, you know, we didn't do nothing wrong. Judah forsook the God of their forefathers. Don't let them bring you back to that. Make your confession with Yah, the creator and maker of heaven and earth, brothers and sisters. And like anybody on this earth, we have to sit back and think. What you do affects others. In the book of the scriptures, it speaks about the son who looks to the ways of his father. Ezekiel 18. And it also says, she that has borne thee has done shamefully. So we have to sit back and think, O house of Israel, what examples are we as mothers and fathers, as guides and guardians, leaving to the future? Children are supposed to answer to their parents, not parents have to answer to their children. What has happened with the breach and not following the Lord's statutes, commandments of the Most High, not taking the advice that people like Moshe stated in Deuteronomy 1, that Sirach stated in the Apocrypha. We find ourselves at times, brothers and sisters, I'm speaking in general, answering to our children questions that they ask us about some of the things that has happened. Answer them. Don't leave them with a question mark. You understand? Allow them to have the understanding to do better than us. That's an honorable matter. When your children can be better than you, like my mother stated to me, may she rest in peace, I want to leave an asset, not a liability. Brothers and sisters, these are things that we have to sit there and take to heart, brothers and sisters, in that particular case. We want to conclude with the timing allotted. Thank you for that, brothers and sisters. And let the book speak in this particular matter, right? And there is a portion I wanted to go over in this. Thank you for that, family. Proverbs chapter 26, verse 28. In this particular matter, if we will. Now, all of us have sinned. The speaker and everybody who listens. Because there is not, like Ecclesiastes says, Ecclesiastes chapter 7, there's not a man that doeth good and sins not. That individual does not exist. So if you're seeking a sinless person, you're going to wind up like a skeleton, keep on looking for it, because he or she does not exist. But we want to read, brothers and sisters, about caliber and character. Because just like I have a relative who told another relative, you might meet a man a certain way, but he may not be that same way later. I have, not to get too personal, a relative whose husband was part of the Crip gang. You know, he was flagging his blue and walking around parts of Brooklyn and things of that kind of nature. He's not doing that no more. She helped mold him into a different kind of individual. So these are things that we can bring out and point out for reference purposes. But it takes a humble heart, a humble mind to want to be taught. As we spoke before on the channel. Men who say a woman can't teach me, he's going to keep on flagging that blue. He's going to keep on looking, yo, what could be going on? Yo, what he stops at, nigga? That's the same spirit he's going to have, quote, looking for the bloods. But brothers and sisters, when you get into a mindset, not to be redundant, not to be long-winded, not to be on nonstop like the Energizer Bunny, talking and talking, we're going to let the book speak and end it out for us in this case, in this particular presentation. We're going to go to Proverbs, if we will, chapter 26, verse 28. And let's see, brothers and sisters, where it's at in this particular case. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. Brothers and sisters, when it says you should not bear false witness against your neighbor, and you got people telling lies on him and her and him, that's not good. A lying tongue could care less about who it ruins. How does that in part coincide with what we're talking about? And a flattering tongue worketh ruin. Anytime a woman and a woman, or a man and a man, or a man and a woman, or a woman and a man gives you a reason to do that which is incorrect and to stay in it, that is the flattering tongue that worketh ruin. When you find Destiny's Child singing, "Ladies, leave your man at home," because the guys in the club pockets are full blown. When you find LL Cool J saying, "I gotta take you from your man," in that song, "Hey Lover." When you find Puffy talking about your man don't know you like I do, that is, brothers and sisters, the flattering tongue Proverbs 26 talks about, that worketh to ruin. These are things we care to point out for reference purposes. That's not good, brothers and sisters. Don't be associated with that. So, hopefully this didn't waste anybody's time. Hoping and praying that everybody is well and will be better. Again, nobody is perfect, but not being perfect does not mean you must sit inside of your imperfection. And with that, Most High bless you all. Pray for one another, strengthen one another. Shalom. Most High bless.